the zone, breaking it down from her comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair, politics sass and a killer stare. Casey's lurking tail in the frame, chat's already playing their games. That target day, sharp and bold, hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite filled in the way, still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack. Now buckle in, no looking back. That dark night, let's go!
There we go. That might change it. Okay, guys, listen. Now there is no sound, which is better than making people deaf so early in the morning. Well, so sorry about that. Anyone else hearing it? No, everybody's upset. So what happened is I took my you got it. Okay. No, okay. No, the reason that this all messed itself up is that I was using my audio box thingy for my guitar yesterday. So I've fiddled around with things. Let's see if this works still. Let's see. Whoa. What? That shouldn't change anything. That should not change anything. Sounds so far. Technical issues as usual. Let's see if I put this higher. There, maybe that will work. No, that's the guitar input. This is the so many technical issues. Scuffs in the chat, guys. We apologize for the income. I'm just gonna keep that up. Joe, why you always gotta cut? Oh my god, what's happening now? Better. Okay, much better. Okay. But yes, I think I might have to get a different soundboard. I don't know. Or I just need to be a better user. I'm not even using my hold on. Yeah, I'm not even using my virtual audio cables at the moment. So you know what? Let's leave the virtual audio cable off. I think it will be a better thing for us to do, and I'll just have to figure that out another time. We are back, baby. Yeah. Let's get technical. No, no, that's not. Hi, ducks. Joe's always here for something embarrassing. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your impeccable timing. Cool. I think we're good. But yes, we're doing another diagram, guys. That's why we're using OBS, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's just make sure this is connected nice. Okay. Right. we won't have background music then. If I don't use my okay, well, I've got a couple of them saved here, so we can do a couple. So there we can put. Is that soothing enough? Here we go. It's cool. I don't judge. Not here for long though. Just popped in to say hi. Sweet. Thanks for saying hi. Guys, later on in the week, I'm hoping to go and have a chat with Joe on his channel, so that will be cool. Now I've just put him on the spot and made sure, but he said I could go on his show. He said it on mine, so there you go. Vibes. Elevator music. Listen, we can have a great chat about my diagram in the elevator. Right, so what we're doing is, it's another South African themed thing, but it also touches on colonialism, guys and gals, because we're talking about the redress of past wrongs. Just finishing schedule, not finalizing schedule. No worries, you know I'm ready. Yeah, so that's going to be this week. Also going to be on New Black Street, and apparently I must say New Blick Street because that's how South Africans say black. Interesting. Thanks for that. Right, so let's get into what we're reacting to, or sophisticated reacting to, guys, is the debate, a little bit of a short debate with Charlie Kirk, who is a very famous debater these days. He did an Oxford speaking engagement, and he got what's the name, challenged on what's the real problem in South Africa, and a little bit about land reform and the Land Expropriation Act. And he does admit that he's not entirely knowledgeable about this thing, but he has logical arguments which I think are quite interesting for us, and it'll be good for us to go through them. Yeah, exactly. You've never heard a South African pronounce it, but apparently I think that they're mistaking us for Australians, because that's another thing that they kind of think Australians. I guess it's an over-the-top stereotype that they have of us, but as long as they're having fun, I'm good. Okay, let's get to the Charlie Kirk agnostic or agnostic. I don't know, Duck. I don't know. I'm just here to watch him talk about South African land reform and colonialism. So let's get the video up. There we go. Get you up like that. No, not like that. There we go. So what they and look, guys, I've done us all a good favor. We are only doing it's a 14-minute 43 clip that we're looking at today. So look at that, guys. We're doing something manageable. Right. There it is. Let's see if you got how the audio goes for this. You guys okay? Let's see how it plays.
Yeah. You did talk about South Africa, and obviously the Expropriation Act of 2024 is kind of a really big issue.
Very much not a South African that's talking, speaking here. But yeah, he's a Oxford student. That freeze frame does not look good for this guy. What? Why? What, because he's got security behind him or something? Jared? Riddle, a gram in the UK say bruv. In Aussie, when you crush in tin, you say bruv. I don't know, Ducks. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's going over my head, in case you didn't notice. Bet he can't say bottle of water. Yes, Gabriel. Okay, so actually let's close things I don't need, in seeing as they are not working for us. Okay. We're all good. Okay, sweet. Let's get get a bit of a feel for what they're going to talk about, obviously, so we're going to have to, because it's a clip, there's no formal debate or whatever. Let's get his challenge. Daisy, thank you for putting your butt in the frame, as we have to, as must occur every time. Woo! Barmy just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Barmy. Who got hit? I can't see because StreamYard is lame. Dweeb man waning and waxing. Daisy? Hey. Legend. Did Duck, did you know Duck's not hit? We'll see who's hits in the replay. Daisy just knocked the camera, that's why it's shaking. I'm not putting it like shaky cam stuff going on. Thank you so much, Barmy, always. When I play the doo-wop whatever, you know that it actually, even the doo-wop, the mbop, when I play it, it's still copyright strikes. So there's that. So I'm just gonna have to say bop bop doo for you. It's Daisy for you. There you go, Daisy. Thank you. There you go. There's more Daisy for you. Okay, so she's sitting right here. Guys, look out for more cat. Hey Matthew, more cat videos on the channel as well, because why the hell not? The shorts are on a completely different thing. Oh no, it's Matthew. Wasn't Matthew also in Gareth's chat this morning?
I wanted to say.
So was Wade. I saw Wade there. Hi. Okay. No, hi Daisy. You too. We also saw you in a chat. Okay, go in your drawer. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Freaking Matthew. Yeah. Okay.
Back on South Africa. You did talk about South. I wanted to take it back on South Africa. You did talk about South Africa, and obviously the Expropriation Act of 2024 is kind of a really big issue. I think to start off from the outset, I should mention that I also don't agree about the more terrible slogans. Kill the boers. Obviously, I think
kill the boer. Okay, so he's fine with taking saying Malema, stop that cuck.
Is terrible. But I think it's good to have context where the Expropriation Act is coming from. And I think drilling down a little bit, I want to pick.
Okay, so I think his main argument is, so context is where it's coming from. So we have good justification for the Land Expropriation Act. That is his, what do you call it? His justification, his whole idea. Okay, no, it's going to make it smaller for you guys. Let me see if I can just put you guys over here so I can still see what kak jy praat. Hey, where's the video? There we go. Lekker. Daisy's very upset that I'm not talking directly to her. Come here, my baby. We're gonna have to do a Daisy cam, huh? I'm gonna have to put the webcam right by you. If you'll agree. Will that work? Will that work, Daisy? Okay, no, okay. Okay, anyway. Can't, I need to focus on things. Nothing better than kakpraat. Then you are in the right place. You are at the kakpraat plek. Okay. I can adopt Daisy. I'll give her good proper attention. Oh, you're telling me I'm not a good enough cat mom now? Okay. Daisy girl, we diagram, okay? I'll reconfigure the desk this evening. And we'll have a Daisy cam, okay? Because we've got 2 webcams now, because we've got the phone webcam and the other webcam. Hey, dude? We'll just have to turn it off when she tells us that she's not interested in being near us. Okay. So what it's land expropriation in South Africa. I think that's the main topic. For bro over here, his thing is context. He started with context. So that makes me think we're going into the reasoning. If we have a good enough reason for this thing to occur, it shall happen. Hola, mi amigo. Hey, Lemons. Good to see you again. It's okay to be racist if it's the right type of racism. Yeah, we're good. Do you have boxes, though? Yeah, do you have boxes, Barmy? I've got a small box. I'm trying to lure Daisy to go into it because it's a tiny one and she's the only cat out of the two that will fit. Hey, do? Go in a box. Go in a box. Okay. Stop it! You guys are did you get a yes, I got the mbop strike. So let's, like, it's annoying. I mute it. But yeah, okay, let's try. Let's see how it goes. I had to, maybe it was the full one, but yeah. That was the chorus, not full Hanson. Let's see the low one. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm going. Here you go, Barmy. Oh, it played as background music, so it was low. So here it is. I'm going to blast your guys' ears. Sorry for you people in the future who can't hear it. There you go. That's as far as I can go. You know what it is. Don't. Let's see how it goes. I'm deaf. You know what? It's good. Guys, you know, this is why you've got to become members, so that you can put scuffs in the chat whenever I do these things. So, I mean, you could put little poop emojis to say scuff and shit, but being a member means that you can use member emojis. Which, like, Barmy buys everybody memberships, but it's not marking you as a membership. Meow. What is, and it's just giving me a donation of 10. Okay. Mbop genius, respect. She's an Mbop. Yes, respect me. Okay, guys, I'm having a great time. This is a great Monday, but and thank you so much, Barmy, for that. But let's, you know what, we'll see how we can remember to member. Oh my goodness, Wade, I need to write that in my little book. Remember to member, you shits. I love a good rhyme, and you know what, I love a good rhyme almost as good as I love a good pun. Puns are the best thing. Can you tell Daisy, fickle cat, tall tree, black? That, I think you're insulting my cat. I'm not going to tell her that. Woohoo! More rounds. Let's go. Okay, shut up. We're trying to get serious now. Don't make me turn on members only chat for the first 20 minutes of the stream. That's a thing I was considering doing. So, okay.
Thoughts based on the fact that white South Africans only account for about 10% of the population.
Okay, so the part of his context, we're going to also do some fact checking here as well. 10% sounds right, but let's just let him get through his things, his statistics. Okay, 10%. Hey, Matthew. Thanks, Matthew. Now Matthew will be here to give all kinds of shit, no matter what the setting is. Hey. Thanks, guys. Right, so 10% of the population is white in SA. Okay. And also, there's other percentages that I want to check him on, because I have watched this.
And they own about 72% of private land.
So he's saying 10% and 72%. So this 10% owns 72% of private land. And I'm not remembering. I'm remembering this being up for question. Like it was not exactly confirmed. I've heard this statistic before, but I've also heard others. So I want to check that, but we'll look at that once we've gone through the whole video, okay? Because that actually does not sway him on what he's talking about here. Why is Charlie Kirk even in SA? He isn't in SA, actually. This is a discussion in Oxford. It's like an Oxford University speaking thing. And they're talking about South Africa. This was a month ago. So South Africa was quite a big deal politically, or as a topic, about a month ago, because of our president in the Oval Office and blah, blah, blah. There were that sort of thing happening there, so that's why the rest of the world were talking about it. Okay, 10% of population is white in SA. Okay, cool. So this is the context he's giving for why land expropriation is a good idea. Okay, because the usual, basically what we're getting from the government, which is it's all good. It's gonna give people land now. It should still be a serious topic, no? Yes, absolutely. But, you know, the world moves on. Although there were demands made of the South African government by the US government. And they were supposed to have done stuff by now, and they didn't. So, like for instance, the BEE thing, US companies should be exempt from it. Because now the Black economic empowerment, part of those rules is that a company needs to be part owned by a black person for it to function at certain scales in South Africa. So that's why you couldn't get Starlink in South Africa, because it's too big. He would have to sell off a portion, not even sell off, just have a portion of the company owned by a black person for it to operate in South Africa. So America's like, how's about no, we don't have to deal with your cuck. We just want to invest in your country. Make us exempt from that rule. And the answer has been no. Tariffs will reign supreme. What's the progressive position on land within South Africa? Is it charged topic or one of those lingering ones? It's lingering and charged, because I don't actually know about the liberals in South Africa. Maybe Joe will tell us more about them. But the liberals in South Africa, they aren't that many that I interacted with. The people that I interacted with were quite knowledgeable. They knew that giving people land isn't going to change anything, and the government is so corrupt that they're the problem. So, but in terms of how emotionally charged the idea of land is, absolutely electrified. Hey Cyberringu, member berries, hello. 41% tariff increases from Thursday is going to be fine. Yeah, but they were supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, Matthew, wasn't it that those are happening because Ramaphosa didn't make the changes that Trump asked for? So he's like, fuck it, we don't need you anyway. Fine. Let's make enemies of the USA. That's fun. Hey Nobor, you missed the crazy audio in the beginning. Okay. We're back to not using the what's the name? The virtual audio cable.
In South Africa. And I think it's always really...
I believe 8 people were allowed by new Supreme Court ruling to be sent to Sudan prison. 8? Only 8? Were they Sudanese illegals? Okay, so we've got that. So basically, bro on the right is arguing for land expropriation being, it's a good thing. Okay, let's get into it.
White South Africans only account for about 10% of the population, and they own about 72% of private land.
Okay, interesting. I would like to know that also the proportions of the 10%, like the amount of land owned by said 10%. There's probably a group within there that also disproportionately owns such land. They were not Sudanese. Okay, that's weird.
In South Africa. And I think it's always really good also to pretty much draw back the debate from the historic background behind it. I think it goes back to about 1913.
Okay, so he wants to give us the historical background, which is 1913. Okay.
Native Acts land, which severely, disproportionately discriminate against Black South Africans from owning land in South Africa. And that's what's caused much of the disparity we see economically.
So that's the whole problem. Didn't even know this video came out. It's actually a month old. It's old news, but hey, Charlie Kirk is not old news. He's busy all over the place, so they are just sending people to where they can see fit. Well, what are they? The thing that I want to know, Boggy, is are they properly criminal? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Are they just illegals that overstayed their visa? In which case, deport them back home. But if they are criminals, as in they've committed crimes further than just overstaying a visa, violent criminals, whatever, they would be sentenced for longer. I can see you outsourcing prisons, basically, is what they're doing. They're outsourcing prison. Crazy. Does he speak native English? I guess he speaks with an accent, that's all. Send them to Australia. This is my thing, Matthew. Let's just put everybody in Australia again. Can we redo this? Illegal equals criminal. If country of origin doesn't accept, see ya, we pay another country to take them. Simple. But the thing is, Barmy, like, if I overstay my visa here, do I go to jail in South Africa? I don't think so. Do I? Like they deport me back, they get me on a flight and they kick me out and they say, get your ass out of here and you're never allowed back. Okay? Or good luck trying to get a visa here again. Do I go to jail there? So yeah, that's something to talk about. The technological benefits of colonialism never acknowledged by the guys, it was all just bad. Well, let's see. I don't think that's the argument that Charlie leans on as well. If you evade the law of UAE, what really happens? The law fines you. If you evade the law in UAE, the law fines you. It will find you no matter what. Okay, don't try. Just don't try. Wouldn't I get stoned? No, I would just get sent back home. Or yeah, there are people that just go to prison. Exactly, the USA is being gentle. No, they will find you. They know, technologically wise as well. They know your visa's expired, boy. Out. They know where you live. They know what you do. They've got a whole system working. I'm sure that they did have some amnesty earlier on at some point where you could go and renew your visa or something. But yeah, what is an SA progressive? A DA voting Capetonian, an EFF that's, that is a great question. Ringlow Juice, Ringu, I honestly want to know. This is a good topic for us to talk about when we speak to Joe this week. What is an SA progressive? Is it a tanny that like, I suppose you do vote DA if you're progressive, but I think EFF would be the most progressive of a tanny. Anyway, eyes have eyes. Okay, cool. Land Act, yes, Native Land Act, so people couldn't own land, so this is for quite some time, I would say, black people did not have land. Yes.
So, I wanted to find out from you, what are your thoughts? And obviously, Trump administration has really been big on what's going on in South Africa at the minute and the act itself that they enacted. So, do you think it's a moral obligation that obviously you're talking about that the land that was expropriated back in the days historically, and that was a colonial endeavor altogether, Does that land need to be returned to?
Okay, so he's saying isn't his what he's positing next with based on this context is that there is a moral obligation. So I don't know, maybe we put this as a summary. In summary, because of this context, there is a moral obligation to return the land. Okay, moral obligation to return that was taken under colonialism, really. Okay, so this is moral return the land taken under colonialism. So that's what you got to do. That's the main priority you're supposed to address, and that means you've got to punish an entire group for past transgressions that they did not actually commit themselves. So what does Charlie have to say?
To Black South Africans?
No, but they already. So I know.
So already he said no. So he's against this summary over here. Okay, so let me go like this. He's against that. Okay, and he's going to say why he is not. Okay. Let's see. No moral obligation to return the land. South Africans. Okay.
know dangerously little about this, and so again, what I said on stage is what I know, so I'm going to have to understand. I'm an American. I'm just trying to educate myself on UK politics, and so you will probably know more about this than I will. But
see, it is in the UK. That's what he's busy talking about. But yeah, and there it is. Let's take a bit of a inspiration from Charlie by saying, I know dangerously little. State that, and if you get given different facts, then you can at least address those with a bit more grace than if you're hard ass about the things that you know about South Africa. Say like, well, from what I know, blah blah blah.
is it not true? And then you can correct me. In the last 20 years, they've tried some form of reparations with
It's actually 30, but okay.
Black South Africans.
So, talking about context, he's bringing up in the last 20 years, as he calls it, 20 years, reparations have been attempted in SA in the past 20 years. Okay, and we can go and actually list what those efforts, but we are 30 years down the line. Okay, and a lot of didn't it start in 2025? It did. Okay, if it did, 2025 in 1995. Yeah, so that is 30 years. Interesting. So let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then also, obviously, what I would say is that it seems like the elites and the political leaders, they've been benefiting from that for the past 30 years. They're not interested in actually helping the people. That doesn't help.
Is that correct? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, there's been,
Yeah, that is the first. They've been okay. So this is beautiful.
but it's not worked. So the
Oh, that's-
It's not worked. How has it not worked? Okay, yes, but it's not worked. Okay, bro acknowledges, agreed, but it hasn't worked. Okay, that's interesting. We would then want to ask us over here, why hasn't it worked? Is it because of the evil white people, evil whites in the way? Policies not in place? It's almost as if the people that have said that they're going to solve this problem have not solved it. Look, this is just what I guess. Just having come from the country, I guess this idea. That's it. But hey, what do I know? I don't know. Let's see. Kirk is gay as fuck. Okay, well that's a great argument for land reform. Whomever called dibs on land first can in perpetuity deny any other ownership in the future is such an insane policy. Looking hot today. Well, thank you, Maverick. Started when Eve handed Adam an apple. It's all our fault. It's all the female's fault.
Right. Well, so okay. So time out. So what? So wait. So taking stuff from one group and giving it to blacks doesn't work.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Charlie. That's an aged way of referring to a group of people. But go off, King. For one group and giving it. So taking things away. That's a quip. That's a not a really. It's a shitty way to word it, I suppose. He tried to get a little gotcha, I suppose, there. Kirk makes me want to be a black nationalist. Well, yeah, the way he said that, I'm interested. So, taking from one group. Didn't work. I've framed it that way. Okay. Kirk makes me want to get off the internet. No, stay with us. We're filtering it through. We're sharing the responsibility of hearing him. So we're okay.
Well, it does work, but I'll give you context as well.
Well, you just said it doesn't work.
I'll give you context.
Yourself. So
Okay. Yes, you said it didn't work.
educate me. I don't know enough, but you just contradict yourself. You went from it doesn't work to it does work. So please.
I'll give you.
So did he just say it does work? Hold on.
It's not worked. So the BBE
that's right. Well,
process.
okay, so time out. So what? So wait. So taking
So he was going to talk about BEE.
stuff from one group and giving it to blacks doesn't work.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you blacks right in front of your face.
Well, it does work, but I'll give you context.
Okay, well it does work. So, it does work. Literally, sorry, I'll show you, sir. Sir, I have a map. This is what I do this for. Don't worry, I got you. You said, agreed, but it hasn't worked. It does work. Okay, so you know what it is? Oh my gosh, I think the argument might be true communism hasn't been tried. Okay, so look, it does work if you just apply it properly. Yeah, maybe. Yes. Okay. If we don't know because the politicians have not applied it, have they? They haven't given people the land as promised in all of this. Okay, everybody's just backed up waiting for all of the promises of the ANC to come to fruition one day. And you know what? Only when Jesus returns will the ANC be out of power. So you got a long way to wait. So it does work. Okay. Debatable.
As well.
You just said it doesn't work.
I'll give you
contradicted
context.
yourself. So educate me. I don't know enough, but you just contradict yourself. You went from it doesn't work to it does work. So please.
I'll give you context as well. So what they did is they did have a program called the Black Empowerment.
Okay, so he's like, well, okay, it does work, and related to it does work is BEE, Black Economic Empowerment, and I don't know, there is now others that are BE and all of this stuff. Just renaming shit supposedly makes it better.
Economic program, and pretty much what they did is for every corporation, they would have to incorporate black people within it. But that's not worked really well, and what we've seen.
Oh, that's not why has that not worked very well? So Black Economic Empowerment is you got to incorporate black people. Incorporate black people. It's basically the affirmative action, right? Incorporate black people. A policy where you have to in business, right? Business ownership. But the thing that happened there, in general, is we just got crony capitalism. We just put all we inserted all the politicians into the businesses, and they benefited from it. So it's not like Joe Schmo on the street over there. He gets to an ownership in a business. No, he doesn't. Okay, so cool. What happened there? Is it the same thing as just all the land, the reform things? It just didn't work for some reason, I cannot put my finger on why these things don't work all the time. Who knows?
Over time is that a lot of black people that have been part of those organizations haven't been a minority. So pretty much, as you mentioned, you talked about DEI. So it's just pretty much checking a box, right?
Yes, they're checking a box. They are not hired for competence. They're there just to check the box, and then that's it. They are like a dummy thing there. And guess what? The people that are in there are very happy. The elites that get to be on the board or whatever, that get the profits just so that this company can function in South Africa, they're very happy to do nothing. But the guy that studied and wants to actually be part of a business and all of that, he doesn't really get involved anyway, because he's too difficult. Okay, we don't want to deal with that person. We'll just deal with the politician who helps us. We scratch his back, he scratches ours. There we go.
Have a black person within the senior management group, but it's only probably 2 people they like, and that's pretty much it. But the majority of black South Africans that do not own any land, because
again, land ownership, bro. Land ownership being the measurement of wealth at the moment. It's like everyone around the world is struggling to own any land, anything. We're trying to own our own video games, boys. Okay, anyway. It does work, so cool. He's saying that there's only a couple. Despite that, most black South Africans don't own anything, don't own any land.
obviously the historic context that I give, cannot pretty much be able to earn a good living, because, I mean, with land also comes...
They can't earn a good living. Okay, they can't earn a good living because they don't own land. No, they can't earn a good living because the economy is struggling. Okay, there's also lovely policies that get in the way of the economy growing, which is the theory a lot of people will push through, is that BEE has made South Africa undesirable to invest in by other countries, so they're not coming in there. So we are not becoming a developed country. Oh, but we're supposed to just make it all on our own. Out of what? With what money? Because any sort of development that's supposed to happen, I suppose, from the government is not going to. It's going to be completely milked by the government. So that all of these factors you've seen with the documentary we went over, you can see how all of the factors that are involved in just the state of any economy, any country. It's like everything is pulling everything down in South Africa. And this black economic empowerment for many people is one of the key hobbling points for South Africa. Okay, so anyway, they don't own any land, they can't earn, therefore they can't earn a good living. As if everybody who earns a good living in South Africa is a farmer. Okay, everybody who makes cash in South Africa is a farmer. Sandton, built on farming. Just that's it. It's all just farming. Anybody who owns land, yeah, they use that land to make more money. Okay. It sounds like a shithole without all the BEE, to be honest. You have to make a competent government able to for any reforms to work. Competence. We're not a fan of competence here.
Economic opportunity, and that's been the biggest disparity in South Africa.
And excuse my ignorance on this. From what I understand, though, is that the land owned by Black South Africans is actually not as productive as those owned by the Boers.
So now part of this is he's got this. They can't earn a good living. So one of the things that he brings up here, Charlie, is, and I'm just going to put Charlie as red while I'm here. well, they don't, black-owned land is less productive than Boer-owned land, I suppose. That's something to fact check, but basically, what that reminds me of is, yes, what actually happens is the government officials land up taking this land, and then it just sits and does nothing, or it's then leased out to individuals, to black people, and they don't know how to farm it because, it seems like they haven't been educated into it. It's almost like they were just thrown onto the land, and having their land it's difficult. There's also the other cohort that doesn't take the land. Instead, they opt for cash. So they don't want the land, and they don't want to work the land. They don't want to boer. Okay, they don't want to be farmers. They just would rather have financial compensation, as is their right as per the way the bill works. Okay, now what? But then we get to say, we get to keep saying we want the land back, though. So you don't have land, but you get money. But that's my problem. That's my main argument with reparations, is how do you at any point ever say, we square? How? After centuries of oppression and all of that, you're going to say, we square, we good. Never. It's never going to happen. There's no fucking way. And even if we get a lot of people to agree on a certain point, a certain number that everybody's got to get, and then we'll be able to be friends, there will still be people on the fringes that are also going to be like, no, we can never be free. We can never be free of this oppression. We must kill you all. So you're going to get those people. So, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with the whole reparations argument. It's gonna work.
Is that correct?
Well, at the minute, 72% of private land,
So we're just gonna repeat the 72% of private land?
land is owned by white South Africa.
No, I
so
understand
only
that,
a minority.
No, but he's like, cool. You're smart enough, you're here at Oxford University, you can abstract and go, cool, but of the land that the black people own, how are they farming? Is the government focusing on educating them, making cooperation, certain policies that white farmers and black farmers can learn from each other, anything like that? Okay. Also farmers in general just are not safe. That's cool.
Fair enough, but the 28% when compared to Boer-run farms are actually not as productive, because running a farm in
So he said of the 28.
South Africa is very difficult.
Yes.
Am I correct by saying that?
Well, context again.
Well,
okay, context again. Oh, it's a beautiful word, this context. We can just throw context.
I just want to make sure I'm clear that
So,
actually running a farm...
Basically, he tapped the sign. When he said context, he said, hey, go over here. Context again. When he tapped that sign and said, look, 10%, private land, cool. Therefore, my argument. Okay, but here's a little bit more of a discussion about, okay, what do we do with this? Giving back the land is not just, but this opens up a discussion of giving back the land, at least for me. I don't know what other arguments could be lurking in Charlie's head, but at least for me, what I get from this is, it's not as easy as giving the land back, is it? It isn't as easy as just, here you go, and we need to do something about that.
For over 100 years is...
Yes. Do the black people get the land, truly own it, or is it owned by government and allowed for black people to use? That is the thing. You absolutely, waffle fry. The government gets to own it and lease it. It's not theirs. So yeah, still not helping, is it?
Actually really impressive.
100%.
Yeah, so we agree on
Yes, we agree on that.
So thank you.
So that's why I wanted to also go into, because I remember the stats that everybody was arguing with is like, no, look at how much the government owns. So you're talking about private land, and then when it comes to government land, it's disgusting. You're like, what are you doing with this fucking government land? What are you doing with it, Oaks?
again, I don't know enough about this, but I do think that that's important to note that even the Black South Africans that own land, it actually is not as fruitful or has the same yields as those that have been doing it for over 100 years in a time when there's actually food instability in the region and in South Africa.
Okay, food, cool. There's food instability. So, you know, oh, okay, so I guess mentioning food instability, just putting it there. Actually, it's going to be in the same block. During food, which is just another thing, another bit of the argument that says, yeah, so if there's food instability in your region, fucking around with your farmers is probably not a good idea. That's how far we can go with that that little snippet.
Obviously, what I'll say is, I mean, over time, if, say, you did have an act that expropriates land from Black South Africans, you need to build capacity over time. And I think
Build capacity. Okay, so you need to build skill. Is that what we're talking about?
the government is doing that for the minority Black people that own agricultural farmland in South Africa, and they've been doing that. But also,
So you need to build. Okay, so he explains this away and says it'll take time. Build capacity over time. The government's apparently doing that. Build capacity over time. It'll get there. So we're fine. That's how he explains it away. Okay, what's next?
we can't deny the fact that if you control supply chains for over a century, right?
Okay, so he now rewords this context over here. Okay, his context was this and this. Now, instead of saying 72% of private land, not for nothing, but the attire of one person opposed to another, do you want to be taken seriously? I don't think he's badly dressed. He could be worse. He could be in shorts, okay? I think that's fine. He's got a collared shirt at least. Yeah, I think he's okay, especially as a student. He's not the public speaker that's there. Unless you're giving Charlie shit for his suit fit. I don't know. It seems rather tight, but I don't know how suits are supposed to fit. They're supposed to look good. For me, the hand in the pocket is like, look how cool I am, honey. Ooh. Like, I'm so fierce. But he knows he's going to speak. He's going to speak. This guy? I don't know if he did. I think it's kind of the way, I don't know how it works. But yeah, I suppose if you're in this room, you could land up being a speaker. But now look at guy on the right here with his glasses on his head. He's definitely just got a t-shirt on. That person, okay, those are just sneakers. But yeah, there's guys on the left there that are wearing suits. Maybe he doesn't own a suit, Barmy. Huh? Ever thought of that? Racist? Classist? He is making a point. What the way? What, by standing that way or what? Stick to the content. It's not a catwalk. No, we're going to talk about how everything works. And also, Barmy paid for that comment, so we get to discuss it. Okay? He did say not for nothing.
Then it means that you pretty
Also,
much
hey, 44.
control the economy, right? So
Okay, so he reworded it. So he rewords his thing here. Another way to talk about this is controlling supply chains for centuries. So this is giving a white economic what's it? EWC, sorry. Economic capture, white economic capture, whatever. I've even forgotten my terminology. EWC, South Africa. No, not that. Sorry, not that's expropriation. Sorry, EWC is expropriation without compensation. But we had white capitalist. Capitalism. South Africa. White monopoly capitalism. There we go. White monopoly capital. There you go. Yes. Thanks, 44. Yes. I'll derail everything. You stick to the content. Nice, Barmy. So yes. We've got white monopoly capital. Okay, white monopoly capital is the white people control the economy. Therefore, even though we have black government, it's still the white people's fault. Okay, that's essential. That's the TLDR of that argument. Okay, so I will put this as a comment. Be like, okay, white monopoly capital. Okay. Because listen, you're all in control. Doesn't matter if we've got all black government. The white people are still there. And hey, yeah, I'm pretty sure white people are involved in corruption. Absolutely, it's not just it takes two to tango. But yeah, I must say, the government is still the government. Okay, you have a choice. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
So how
Go and get all the corrupt people. Round them up.
best
Send
do
them to Sudan. I'm joking.
you think, obviously the land was taken from black people, and South Africans, white South Africa has been pretty much, improving the economic outcomes over time.
Improving their own economic outcomes, I'm sure, is what he means.
What do you think is the best way to break even in that?
Okay, so his idea of this, he brings up what's the best way to break even. And that's my argument, is that there's never a break even. Okay, with reparations, with any of this kind of argument, there's never a break even, because the psychological trauma can never be quantified. So that's always going to be an argument that you did this to us. Your race is untrustworthy. We cannot forgive you ever until you die. Maybe when you don't exist, we'll forgive you. Like that's as far as we go if we take it to the logical conclusion. Good. What would be best? I think a lot of people say shoot to kill. That's their solution. Other people, maybe we just make the country less cuck for everyone. And then some people maybe are a bit more hateful about the way that they want. They get to keep all they have, and black people must just get out as well. I don't know. Okay, so for him, what's the best way? What best way to break even? Okay, so to make fair. This goat. Shoo. If you're on campus and you're politically motivated, which is such a shame, you know you're facing. Present yourself.
Fair question.
And I just want to make one point to you. If obviously you look at key philosophers as well, like Robert Nozick, for instance.
Okay, another thing of Charlie saying, I don't know this person.
He talks about equality in terms of acquisition.
Okay, so anyway, something to look at for us is, let's just go a little bit back.
I was with
so I can
Robert
get it.
Nozick first.
Robert, I don't know. It's let's put SP Nozick. Okay, talks about it in terms of equality, in terms of acquisition. So you have to acquire something for you to be, what do you call it? You have to acquire equality. Acquire something for equality. Okay, that's interesting. Why is that backwards? Okay. There, fine, we're good. Interesting, Xmind. Do what you must to keep us tidy. That's why we use you. Okay, equality in terms of acquisition.
For instance, he talks about equality in terms of acquisition, as well as the process through which you acquire that land, and obviously correcting the
Acquisition process. Okay. Interesting. the process through which you get it is, we take it from you.
The injustice that comes out of it. So what would be your thoughts on that?
So, okay, it was taken unjustly, so it can be taken to give back unjustly. Two wrongs make a right. That's how it works.
I'm not familiar with the philosopher you mentioned. Who was the name again?
Robert Nozick?
Okay.
Nozick. I don't know. We'll look it up.
It's a very prominent philosopher.
I'll look into it. Sure, thank you for that. I don't know enough about South Africa to suggest anything. Here's what I could tell you, that race-based politics is really bad. I know this, because I'm
Nozick is, according to Waffle Fry, Nozick. Okay, race-based policy, bad. Okay. Okay, cool. And of course, the main argument there is, of course you're going to say race-based policy is bad because it's against you, Mr. White Man.
living at my country. And I think that South Africa should get away from race obsession and should get toward.
That is a good way to talk about us. We're pretty obsessed with race, aren't we? I'm just going to put this wording in here. Race obsession. Like, we're hung up on it. And I understand we're hung up on it for good reason. Because of our history. But we are still hung up on it. And that is still a problem. Like, how long are we going to be hung up on it? How long does the country have before it just destroys? Then the aftermath of apartheid just becomes the destruction of the country itself.
Something that is rooted in merit and empowerment.
Let your patriotic values guide how you invest. Yet on a rail, independent investor, Kirk, that's
South Africa is what, 75% black? Is that correct? 80%? Maybe?
Yeah,
20?
that's right.
Right.
Okay, so he's talking about 75 to 80% black, okay? And he says, yes, that's right, okay. Black population in SA. We'll look it up. Bring back Nelson.
And so explain to me, like post-apartheid, outside of the land ownership, but maybe there's a business element. Why?
Yes, there has to be a business element because landowner, we've moved on as a society, as a species, from just owning land. Hey, Tombi! Studio designer Tombi. I want him to just design and studio and just put all the wires together for me.
Is it that once apartheid was removed, why black South Africans were not able to see their material economic net worth go up?
Yeah, why haven't they gotten better? I mean, it's not like more white people came in. But no, it's just the residual. And it's a framing problem, which is where I agree with Kirk. Yeah. Looking forward to showcasing the new studio. I want to see it bad.
The last 20 or 30 years. What do you think there's any, and maybe I don't know enough, are there any cultural inhibitions of a defeatist attitude?
Mm-hmm. So he is asking about what other than land ownership, is there anything else halting the growth of black people? And it's kind of, this I found really powerful to hear from a foreigner, which you're supposed to go, oh, well, it's a foreigner, how do they know? What do they know? But the way that he phrases this makes me go, oh, we are really just so far up our own asses, aren't we? We really are. This is very much what we're doing. We're very focused. Because we're fish, we can't see the water. I suppose we're so used to it in South Africa that we don't really even call it race obsession. It just we don't see it that way. So having this guy word it this way was quite an eye-opener for me, or it was it resonated with me.
That has basically, let's say, infected the minds of poor South Africans last 20 years. That
Well, Kiza, don't do that then. Okay, an extreme one. If you're going to, if I'm imagining what you're talking about, what your approach would be, it would probably be, oh, white people would be the solution, or something like that. If I'm thinking of the most extreme, and I'm just not interested in that kind of talk. That's just race obsession as well, and I'm not interested in that. So yes, if you would like to be yeeted, do that, but rather not. It would be better for us to talk about things that are valuable to both of us. We are so used to it. We really are so used to it. Kitty is white. And what are you? Do you want to say what, Matthew? Yes, he becomes a member and he's like, you know what? Let's cause Kakia. Yeah, I see. Okay, for South Africans the last 20 years. So yes, what is it? What is it? Mindset? Is there a cultural mindset? And this is quite. I don't know. You guys, South Africans in the chat, tell me what it's like. What you hear, what you kind of feel about this, whether he's so far off and out of touch, or if it's like, what do you think?
feel as if they can't accumulate wealth. Do you think that plays a factor?
Yeah, I think what's really infected Black South Africans is pretty much going back to what we're talking about. Obviously, from the colonial background that I just gave you, and we see.
Okay, so his cultural mindset is, yeah, it's the colonial mindset. Okay, colonial background. Sorry. So it's the oppressed background, the victim background. Yes, it's here.
Of like neocolonialism, you control the supply chains, and you own 72% of agricultural farmland. How do you expect the minority, the majority?
Sorry. How do you expect the minority? The majority. Yes. So listen. Sorry, I know that was probably very loud, but now listen. So you're saying there are minority landowners. Cool. Minority in terms of land ownership, I can accept that. But in terms of the entire population, and we're talking about the race of it, do you think it might be a class of people, say politicians, that might be in the way of this cultural bloom that we're looking for? So he knows this. He says, how can you expect a minority? So he goes back to, because he's positing that they're minority landowners. Okay? How can you expect a minority land ownership? So he's equating land ownership as the sole means of wealth production and wealth building, right? The development. Okay, so I think it would be better if both of these guys toured South Africa and did their own deep dive. The government constantly tries to separate races so they can stay in power. Yeah. Releasing Mandela was a mistake. Okay. Well, nice. Are you South African? I wonder if he is. Okay, how can you expect a minority land ownership to generate wealth? Bro, he just spoke about the actual population, and if we go into the government itself, are you just going to say it's a dummy government? It's just there for show. The real people on the levers of power are just the white people. Is that it? Okay. How can you expect majority land ownership to generate wealth? Cool. Does South Africa still have peasant self-sufficient farmers for that group land as wealth?
Black people.
Yeah, they have livestock and little gardens and things like that.
to improve the lives
nothing really large, subsistence-wise.
and the outcomes
can I
when you pretty much control
Fair
everything.
enough.
You control everything. Okay, so basically he gave the same same thing of the white people control everything. So even though white people own the land, private land. Okay, so when generate wealth when the minority minority control everything. Okay, so sorry, majority minority of land ownership. Okay, it's simple racist. If culture isn't ours, we will take you over you. This is real. Comrades must eat.
So this is a sloppy but best example I can give. Is that fair? I'll do it. So just grant me some mercy here. What percentage of American land is owned by Asians?
Okay, so he's trying to give you an example here where he goes, if we're going, you've now said land ownership equals wealth. Okay, now an easy way to astroturf this is to go, well, you're talking about a developed country, so it doesn't make, it's not the same. You cannot make this example over here we can't compare America to South Africa. Okay, we can't do that. So that's a way that we can move that. Ooh, is my phone dying? It seems like it has. Okay, hold on, let me pause this. Okay, are you good? You good? You good, camera? You good? You good, boy? Okay. Okay, so anyway, Asians own the Chinese restaurants and the kennels. That's so fucking horrible. Get out, Matthew. Okay. Majority, so he goes, here, let me give you an example. What's the percentage of Chinese people owned land in America? And what percentage of land is owned by Chinese people in America? Okay, so with that question, we're saying, you see, what land does not equal wealth. That's what he's trying to explain.
Not sure.
Yeah, less than 3%. They are the rich.
So less than 3%, but they're the richest people. Less than 3%, yet the richest demographic. Okay.
Richest racial group in America. So maybe land ownership isn't the only thing that matters to get wealthy.
Well, I do recognize that a lot of companies now.
No, but hold on a second. Why? Forget the supply
So I do recognize that a lot of companies
chain.
I do recognize that a lot of companies now.
No, hold on a second. Why?
It would have been fine to let him finish what he was saying. Okay. Colored is a mixed race classification, literally of white and black. So you wouldn't, black is then a catch-all, as in non-white. I think Chinese in South Africa isn't called black anymore, it's just called previously disadvantaged, isn't it? Either way, if you're not white, you're previously disadvantaged. Or do we not use that word anymore?
Forget the supply
term.
chain, forget the land. Land is basically all owned by white people in America, okay? Yet Asians, Indians are by far the richest group. So why is it that this particular group that happens to own the land and the supply chains, and we've admitted it's very hard to run this land, very hard to run this idea of farming in South Africa, it feels to me, I could be wrong, that it's a group of resentment-driven politics.
Woo, look at him. So this is obviously, he was asking a question, but what he wanted to talk about was say it's resentment-driven politics. Okay.
towards a group of people that own land instead of opportunity and empowerment-based politics, talking to the black majority about how they could build a better life for themselves instead of taking away other people's stuff.
Oh, we want the Gibbs. Give. Politics, taking from others. Encouraged to take from others. Focus on taking from others rather than building for themselves. And by taking from others, we don't mean taking aid, taking business, you know, working with others. We mean literally taking. Someone steal Kirk's land and see how he acts then. Land that he bought. Sorry, but this is if Kirk owns this land and then it is stolen from him by individuals that are still living, then he will want repercussions. I would say yes. But if Kirk's land is stolen by some ghosts of the past, is it the same thing? This is the discussion that he will now have.
Well, maybe the question could be as well, why do you think white South Africans that pretty much acquired that land through unjust means are so apprehensive?
So pretty much, pretty much acquired the lands through unjust means. So anyone who owns land now, and is white, unjust means. If you own land, you've acquired, and you are white, you've acquired it by unjust means. Full stop. Okay? So white people pretty much doing a lot of lifting there. White people acquired land through unjust means. Okay? Just without consideration, that's just how it is.
And they don't really want to break even or probably give up much
Well,
of the land that was stolen.
Hold on, that's a
mindset
issue. There's plenty in America that gets labeled as quote unquote stolen. Plenty. However, it doesn't necessarily always hold back every ethnic group that is in the country, that is even in the minority of the country. And so I guess the question is, it's a mindset. I don't know South African law enough. I don't know if it's a free market based. I really don't. I'm not just playing cute. But as a general operating principle, it's very bad to build a political movement around taking other people's stuff because you're obsessed with what you don't have instead of the mental energy to create what you want and what you think you deserve. We've seen this with a lot of groups to America, and America's a very interesting.
So he's focused on the mindset of it, right? The mindset of okay, I must take from what I don't have, therefore must take. This injustice and that sort of thing, the resentment, all of that being underlying. But this for me is actually even more out of it, which is okay, unjust according to who? I've got my title deed here that I paid a person for my land. This is not 19 foot sack that this has happened. How there is a difference between me committing a sin and generations back committing a sin. Like, there is. If you want to work that way, then if you want to work within that framework, that the sins of the father, we're going to work that way. Fine, then we are going to have a long investigation of who was where, and we also need a 23andMe or whatever. We need to do all the DNA to decide where everybody belongs in the world, and then you fucking stay where that says, eh? You go where somehow where your biology says that you're supposed to go, and you stay there and you get what is allotted to you. It's just not it's not feasible. It doesn't compute. But yeah, fine. Sometimes when I hear these things, I get actually kind of angry, and I'm like, you know what? Take it. Take everything. Just take. Just shut up and just take. Okay? Let's see. Let's just fucking see what happens then. Just do it, please. Can we just shut up and give the land? Oh, we can't do that. You know why? Because of the fucking government. Okay, anyway, let's have a breather. Let's drink some water. Let's realize that it's not in front of us. We don't have to fight it, okay? I don't know why my phone is so slow today. What is my computer up to today that's making it this way? That can exit. Yeah, it's a bit slow today, this one. Okay, but you can't expect a population to just radically change their mentality on a dime. Yeah, I can't. You're absolutely right, Waffle Fry. I'm not. I can't expect that. But you know what I do expect? Is the fucking politicians to get their heads out of their asses. The leaders. We need to get them out of the way, because they are, from the top down as well, influencing that mindset. It's not that top down and bottom up don't interact. They do, and they enforce each other.
Petri dish, because we have a lot of people that come to our country with nothing. We have Cubans, we have Venezuelans, we have Colombians, we have Persians, and a rule is the group that complains the least and focuses all of their combined...
No. The group that complains the least, we all complain the most in South Africa. I think everybody complains. It's therapeutic.
Cultural energy on creation does really well over multiple years. That might not be possible in South Africa. There might be like no process to create wealth, but I would just venture a guess that market principles transcend borders.
Okay. White people acquired land through unjust means, so he's just saying it's mindset issue again. Mindset issue, market principles, transcend borders, transcend culture. Okay, that's his thing. They want to keep the people divided. Yes, you keep the people divided so that you can continue getting your votes, because you are the eternal struggle hero. You're the eternal struggle hero. You gave these people freedom from tyranny, and you have them in your hands like putty, and they will not hold you accountable. They think that you are actually, a lot of the time, for generations, they think, you know what, you deserve to get all of the things that you got. You deserve it. That's also part of a cultural view, that you deserve all of this. Leaders deserve these things. And it's not the leader's fault that I'm not getting things. It's the cabal. Okay, don't worry. Okay, the unjust means. So he just dismissed the unjust means, right? He hasn't spoken about the unjust. What do we do about the injustice?
So my postulation, and I'm glad you admitted it, don't say kill the Boers. Bad, we should say that. It has created real deaths and real harm. If I was in charge, which of course I'm not, I would spend all my time not saying kill the Boer, kill the Boer. I would say, my people, get your act together. Let's work harder.
Do you hear that? Do you now this think about this? Do you hear this from our government in South Africa? What messaging do we get? A lot of the time it's, we will do better. We're gonna root out corruption. Blah blah blah. I don't hear it very, very loud and clear from the government that it's maybe they do say it, but it's just falling on deaf ears, or I'm just immune to it. I don't see any hope in their rhetoric at the moment. So if I was in power, I'd be saying, sorry, government message should be get it together, rather than kill the Boer, basically. And you know what, you guys can say, oh well, the EFF is the one that's singing kill the Boer, not the ANC. Well, the ANC itself has said fuck all, okay, about that, because they don't want to cause cuck. They're just, oh no, you know, it's just the EFF. No, but no, condemn in the strongest terms. Do it. What are you going to lose from that? Why can't you actually just say that's not a good thing? No, we're gonna upset people. Kitty for SA president, not a fuck.
Let's prove the Boer wrong. Let's start a business. Let's build families. One is driven in resentment and greed and envy and confiscation, and one is rooted in creation and entrepreneurship and optimism.
That makes me, like, when I was talking to Joe the other day, when he was talking about all the kinds of, the different cultures that we have in South Africa, then splitting off into their own states and things, and just kind of being happy with what they are and building what they are in community with each other. That message felt hopeful and about entrepreneurship and building and good things. And then when we go back to all the way back to the documentary, it's when we looked at the industry of the raceway and the community and all of the shit that happened there. It's like, look what happens when we build shit, Oaks. Look what happens. Because that raceway was built after apartheid.
I'd like to see the latter.
Well, it's very interesting you call it confiscation.
Oh, because confiscation is what happened before, yes.
What about if we call it probably reclaiming the land that was stolen back in the day?
Yeah,
Oh, reclaim.
But here's the thing as well.
Okay, but can I please, okay.
Just please, I don't want to talk about this cuck.
Here's what kind of understanding the value of land, right? Much of what happens with land is obviously, and I think a very prominent economist talks about this, a guy called Hernando de Soto.
Okay, Hernando de Soto, the value of land. So we've got, we're still under the way to break even, value of land, okay? De Soto. Okay, swap, two. Again, I hope that this person doesn't think that just bringing up names, name dropping means, look, I've got the facts. And it's just, I guess that is a university thing. It's like, here's my citation.
Ministry of Capital.
I know Hernando.
Yeah, he talks about it really. When it comes to land, the value of land is that obviously you can borrow against it. And we've seen for much of agriculture.
Okay, because value of land, you can borrow against it. Okay, sweet.
Commercial land, which is very expensive, really.
Legit.
Yeah.
Totally expensively. Okay. Guys, I need to run to the loo. So you're going to get to hear the break song. A bit louder. I just need a P. It's P, just so you guys know.
Get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you went for a pee break yourself. Kids, you got that stage 2 load shedding? Oh, no load shedding here where I am, boys. No siree. We've got electricity all over the place. Actually, they leave it on a bit too much. In the car dealerships, etc. On the offices. Hey, guess what, Stream Elements? I just took a stand because I just went to go and walk all the way to the loo, and Axel was there, and you know, I had to bend down and give him a pat, so we were all good. Borrowing implies you want to start a business. That's not happening here. Man has some first world ideas about SA. What's wrong with Ring is just good? Okay.
And that's the thing, right?
It's never poopy. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I'm a female.
So if you own land pretty much everywhere, you can extract a little value out of it.
So can I interject really quick? Let's try another moral principle. Is it ever right to punish a grandchild for their grandfather's sins?
Okay, here we go. That's the main thing. You can borrow against it, extract value from it. Okay, but he's not even involved in that. He's not even talking about the value of land. It's like, cool, I understand the value of land, but also here is a moral principle of punish. Can you punish a grandchild for their grandfather's sins? Okay, I like how he used a little bit further, a bit more of a generation gap there to make the point, because we have we have a few generations now. So and even then we have a few generations from the context bro gave us, which is 1913, okay, 1913. So I think there's been a few what's the name, generations since then. And you know what, there's some generations like my family who weren't even in South Africa then, okay, who would probably still be considered white landowners because of reasons, right? You see, they're still white landowners. Okay, even if we weren't there, we still benefited from apartheid. So you cannot deny, therefore you should be punished. So you have a sin, you have the sin anyway, is another argument as well. You have the sin because you have benefited.
Not necessarily.
Well, that was quite a pause. I thought my video was broken. Hello?
Not necessarily, but
Well, hold on. Your
context.
suggestion.
Not necessarily, because he said, sorry, he also put the word in ever. Okay? So he said, not necessarily, but then he said, context! He tapped the sign. Not necessarily, but context. But context. What about context? Again, Charlie, let the guy actually sit with this. Don't interrupt him.
Context. Not necessarily, but
Well, hold on. Your
context.
suggestion.
Well, context is very
this
important.
They did not steal the land. Someone related to them stole the land. So
They did not necessarily, but he's trying to say context. So you know what? When he tapped the sign context, bro said, "Let me give you a different. Let me just go. I know what your argument's going to be, so I'll just go forth with it. I'll challenge it. You're saying someone related to them stole the land, not them." And I will say it's even more than just one one generation past.
Why punish them? They look like them.
Not them. Why punish them? They look like them. That's where I'm getting at with, say, my family looking like them, therefore being part of the group that needs to be prepared. When I hear kill the boer, I'm not only hearing if you farm, you're in trouble. I'm not hearing that. Maybe I'm too sensitive. The grandparents sold the land, hold them accountable, not the white. Yeah, why did my grandfather sell this land for a couple rifles or whatever?
They talk like them, they were related to them, but you are talking about actively punishing a human being that did not do the atrocity.
I'm not saying.
Oh, but you see, he'll say they look like them, they speak like them, they look like them, speak like them, etc. You're punishing the person who did not commit, and look, he said the word atrocity. The atrocity, right? Well, don't worry, because they still benefited. The other argument that people would bring up, they benefited from the atrocity, so they are guilty. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's viewed. You've benefited from it. You are currently benefiting from it. The only way you will stop benefiting from it is if I take it away from you. And once I've taken it away from you, you are now the victim, and all is well in the world. And people when I've tried to explain this argument to people, they're like, that's not right. It's like, no, that is absolutely what that's the underlying thinking here. There's no argument that can change this person's opinion. A person that believes that you've benefited from the atrocity, therefore you are guilty, there's nothing that you can do to make them, you can't make them think of this moral principle over here. It's a different, see what he means by context? The context means this. This word context, they're related. This is what he means by it. They're related that way. The context makes this true. Makes this belief. And that's sad. I don't know what else I can do with it but say that's sad. And it takes hearts and minds changing to change all of that.
I'm not saying we should actively punish them, right?
Oh,
Okay.
we shouldn't actively, we should passively punish them. Not saying we should actively punish them. How shall we do it? Okay, don't burpa is bro saying don't burpa. I'm cool with that, don't burpa. How else do we do it? Oh, guys, this is another one of my ideas. Hold up. Come. Okay, I know this is not a good thing because my video keeps glitching and shit. But listen closely. What about white tax? I know I'm not a revolutionary for suggesting this, but what if? Okay, so currently VAT in South Africa, what is it, 15.5 now? Correct me if I'm wrong. So for white people, we should make them pay extra tax. So, okay, so in your employment tax, there is a white thing that you do, just literally because you're white. Okay? And you know what we could also do? If we're not sure whether you're white, okay, we'll do this thing that it's called the. Let me just come up with it just off the top of my head. I'll call it the pen test. Okay, And you know what? If I can put this pen in your hair and it can fall out, okay? That means you're white. And yeah, so that means that you have to pay, let's make it 50% extra VAT. So if, no, not 50%. Let's not be cock. Not 50% extra VAT. No. Let's make it just the normal VAT up until 50. So your VAT is 50%. I'm lekker, hey? I'm not saying 65%. No, I'm saying 50. So 50% VAT, okay? And then we also on your income SARS, your usual income tax, you also pay this. Just also put 50. No. Actually, 50 is not good enough. I think 50 is cuck. 75. I think 75 will be it. And you know what? We'll do that for. I'll work it out. We'll work out how many generations there are. Okay, between when the oppression started. You know what? Van Riebeck. Yeah. So from there forward, that's when the tax, we'll figure out when the tax ends. Okay, I'll figure this out, I promise. When the tax ends, then we'll go back to the normal taxes. Okay? Shot. All good? I'm glad. Okay, I know this is revolutionary and you've never heard anything like this in your life, but you know what? I think that we should do that. That will change everything, because the land, we'll try and continue with the land and whatever. But if you just make the taxes this way, what are you going to do, white people? You're going to make a little sign and go for a little protest and what? Please. Are you going to speak to Trump? Please. We're not worried about Trump. We're not worried about Trump. We don't want to be friends with Trump anyway. Africa doesn't need friends. South Africa doesn't need friends. Whatever, especially not America, right? Am I right? Okay, satire over. My goodness. I hurt myself with that. But really, consider it. What's wrong with it? What is wrong with what I'm proposing? Please tell me. Okay. You missed the satire skit? Nice one. Good luck taxing me. What do you mean? What do you... Oh, is it all in Bitcoin? Don't worry. We're figuring it out. We're going to wish you had your 2A. No, we don't have we don't have anything equal there. What the fuck did I come back to? Me explaining how we fix racialism in South Africa. Okay, this is I really think we need to figure this out and create this bill. I'm gonna create a video that fixes South Africa. Give them the idea. And you know what? At least this way, white people get to survive. You can pay. No income, no tax. Hey, there you go. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Look out for that campaign video. Kitty for president, and she will solve all your problems by taxing all the white people. And again, there will be a very sophisticated test about your hair to figure out how white you are. Okay. No brapa, no brapa. The tax machine will go brrr, and that's all we need to do. Kids say Georgia Maloney. What? Kitty SH. Yes, I'll be South Africa's Georgia Maloney. Yes, there we go. Okay, I understood now. Okay, so anyway, let's see. We're not actively punishing him. Exactly. We don't actively punish. We just fiscally punish. Let us fiscally punish them. Yeah. The pen in your hair is more powerful than the sword. Well, yes, yeah, it'll mean that you have less taxes. I'm telling you. And it'll be for a certain number of generations. And I promise, when the generations are over, the white tax will be abolished. And there will be much merrymaking. And everybody will be friends. It's a foolproof plan.
But you're saying, I just want to make sure I'm clear. You went back to these three principles. making wrong the justice, redistributing.
Yes.
So
Correcting the injustice, I think,
So
is
with
a fair
correcting the
deal.
justice, let's say, theoretically, it would be that we want some of this land to go back to black South Africans. That's confiscation,
All of it. All of it.
right? No, you no longer own it. This group's going to own it. Therefore, you are punishing a grandkid for the sin of a grandfather.
He's comfortable with that. And I say he, as a person like this, is very comfortable with that, because we cannot, the sin is so deep that it transcends generations, it transcends time. It is in the skin color. It's so weird. It's so weird that the sin is so deep that it's in the skin color.
How is that morally defensible?
Because the white people did the bad thing.
I think it gets back to the same thing. And how is it more defensible if, say, the land that you own at the moment was stolen land, and it has over time created a massive disparity economically for much of the majority of black people out there. So they could make the same argument as well.
Fair enough. And we would say,
Make the same argument. You've made the same argument. Yes, the land has made disparity, unequalness in the country. Cool. Who has gotten richer? Let's see. Who has gotten richer the most? Like, just have a look at which group has gotten richer. Is it black people? No, it's not black people. It's a certain group of black people. You can identify them. They're kind of in parliament and all of that. Very easily identifiable.
but the code that we believe in the West and South Africa can choose.
Yes, South Africa can choose, and you know what? I honestly don't think it will choose this. Okay, we in the West believe this. I don't think we believe that this is. You know what? I would just want it to. I would at least respect if actually it came out and said this. If the politicians themselves said, well, which they kind of do sometimes. The West doesn't know this is a Western idea. When there's at a rally, you will have people say it's the Western idea that there mustn't be punishment. This is it. So I guess I am still irritated. So I'm lying when I say I will respect it.
Inheritance, something that you did not work for, and all of a sudden that you have, and that you are then nurturing, we're not going to take that away from you if you did not do anything individually wrong, because this is the difference. We believe in individual-based.
Oh, no. In the West equals individual-based punishment, I suppose. What are you going to say? Punishment or...
Not collectivist group-based politics.
So based individual politics. Look, in that sense, yes, but otherwise, yeah, you are very much group. Everybody.
So they're saying this
politics will always involve groups, not just individuals.
group took this from this group, therefore this group must get something else. We're asking, did that individual do anything wrong? That individual is a different person than the grandfather. So what is the solution? The solution is for Black South Africans to
What,
understand.
they must just suck it up? They can't just suck it up. You can't.
Understand the injustice, and I'll grant you all that. I know nothing about the 1913. I should learn about it, and thank you for bringing that to my attention, right? But I do know that there was a lot.
The West does take taxes inheritance. Yes, it does. You know what? We're punishing we're punishing you for the success of your grandfather.
Of immoral behavior to the let's say the gaining of the land, right?
That's right.
I acknowledge that. Fine. The question is then what to do. And a general rule that has worked in America, and I'll kind of repeat my point, is the group,
Yeah.
whomever it is, if they have a mentality and a mantra that is
Oh,
about
okay. If they can just pick themselves up by their bootstraps and whatever.
creation,
That's what's supposed to just be go into the people that hear this message. Yeah.
and about resentment, will succeed. This is actually really bad for even the people. Even if they got all the land back, let me tell you, it would not necessarily be a good thing.
Oh well, it would be better for them. That don't worry, like they'll be happier for a little bit.
One, we've already shown that
But we have seen that in Zimbabwe.
they can't necessarily manage it. It's very hard. The Boers have developed a method of farming in the last 100 years.
How do you justify that?
Well, because
they've not been able to?
I just told you that.
Them not being able to. So yeah, he's like, hey, listen, you're just making the thing that them getting all the land back is not going to be good. Getting the land back actually won't be that good for the group. Well, also there's people that don't want the land back, by the way. They just want money. They want the lump sum.
Well, and you agreed with me. I asked a question, which I think I knew, and you affirmed it. The black South African farmers are not nearly as productive as the equivalent Boer farmers. They're not. The same land, same fertile soil, the farms equivalent are not as necessarily productive. But again, just as a general rule, and we can have clarity but not agreement, I think
Barmy and Creamage will be my campaign managers. Sorry, Matthew.
it's a bad idea.
Creamage will make more songs about me there'll be bangers on the radio.
To nationalize complaints into a political movement. I think it's very dangerous. And then the right, we fall into this sometimes too. In South Africa, it's even more dangerous to weaponize racial complaints, despite the injustices of past. It's a better use of time to talk about a victor mindset, not a victim mindset.
Oh, I love that idea, but no.
Yeah, I think it's easily
It's easy for you to say, Mr. White Man.
said than done. That would be my kind of thinking.
But it's simply a mindset.
Yeah,
but the groups that embrace it in America and across the West, they succeed. The Jews have had a lot of crap thrown at them the last 100 years. They get their act
Only 100.
together, they organize, they
Sorry, I'm reading the Bible. There's a lot going on in there.
understand how to, create wealth. And again, I would say there are many groups that are parallel to that. So
It's a mindset. Okay, we're going back to we're just getting the repeats of the mindset discussion. Let's go Victor. Sorry, I'll just put your Victor mentality rather than victim, which is very catchy. We'll put that in my in my campaign song. Oh wait, no, that's not my platform. Sorry, my platform isn't Victor. Actually, you know what? Yes, we could still call it a victor mentality. We are the winners. Therefore, we must be taxed. So it works with my platform.
you want to make a final point? I don't know how we are in time, but
yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
yeah, again, we have clarity. I would like to see, of course,
This is a nice thing that I took from this debate, this discussion, is we have clarity, not agreement. That's a nice thing to keep in mind, guys, when we go into further conversations ourselves and debates with people, is we can at least have clarity on something. I think it's just a nice way of phrasing it. We have clarity and not agreement.
an end of the kill the Boers. But my hope for South Africa is one that is rooted in empowerment and lifting up and optimism.
Not black economic empowerment. You're against that?
Not being like, well, something bad happened to my grandfather, therefore it impacts me. It actually doesn't impact you as much as you think.
Oh, it doesn't impact you as much as you think. It's just a mental thing. Yeah, just you know what? When you're sitting in that squatter camp, though, that's not really how you're gonna feel. And that works for the politicians. That really works nicely for the politician, because you have this nice resentment, because you're gonna have resentment when you're sitting in a shack. And you're going to have resentment for the person that's not sitting in a shack. And somehow you don't have resentment for the G-Wagon rolling politician people. Interesting.
Free being with your own agency and your own ability. Was it wrong? Yes. Is it inhibiting? I would say no.
Yeah, I would say that I think cooperation is probably the pathway going forward. And I think breaking even
Cooperation. Okay, yeah.
is a good thing, because the Expropriation Act actually does pretty much cover for that, where much of land that's not being used can then be shared. And
I will look into it.
I think that'll be a better way to go.
I'll read more about it.
Much of the land that's not being used can be shared. So he just says, okay, fine, cooperation is the best way to go, because break even, cooperation is the best. He does agree. I think he did that. Cooperation is the best way forward. I'm glad that he doesn't mean killing is the best way forward. I don't. That's great. That's a great thing. Our politicians need G-Wagons. The potholes are bigly. Oh, did you see that? I think you were here for the reaction stream on Friday. There was a guy yelling about the potholes. The minister who's in control of the potholes must come fix this shit. Okay. So then that's that, guys. That is a nice amount of discussion. Let's turn off the screen sharing and let's have a look at what we can learn from our diagram. So this is what usually is supposed to happen in a summary video, but let's see what we've got, what we noted here. So the discussion started off with our friend calling it the Oxford student talking about the context of land expropriation in South Africa, land expropriation as a remedy to this context that he brings up. We've got the 10% of the population is white in South Africa. Let's see, we'll talk about that. And 72% of they own 72% of the private land. So there's disproportionate ownership, land ownership of white people in South Africa, obviously. So black people, while they are the majority, are the minority land owners, apparently. Okay. The historical background, lol, get it. The historical background, I think it is called the Native Land Act. Basically, black people can't own land, so yeah, very much historical atrocity there. But then just think about I'm wondering if my whole tax the white system should go from 1913. So maybe it's from 1913. Let's call it there. Since 1913, let's figure out how many generations there would be. And that's how my tax the white system. We have to figure out the difference, and then we'll figure out how long the tax the white system needs to occur for before we can all be friendly and love each other. Okay. 1913. Then also controlling supply chains. This was another way that he worded this context, is that white people have controlled supply chains for centuries. He doesn't use the term that South Africans would know or recognize, at least. I didn't know it off by heart because I'd forgotten it, but white monopoly capital. And his main question is, because of this horrible past, there is a moral obligation to return the land that was taken under colonialism. So anyone who has that land, it was taken by the wrong means, so it doesn't belong to them. It's stolen land. Why are we taxing the whites? Because that's the only way that we can gain peace, is if we so this is my whole main joke, which is not really a joke, because it's like this: is this what you want? We're trying to find, this is basically the reparations thing. So you know that the white privilege card usually gets you all the food and everything that you want in the world, right? Now your white privilege card becomes a white disadvantage card, something like, we can call it a dompas even. And you get basically, you must be oppressed for the same amount of time, that's for a certain amount of time. You will tax the white people, and then we'll then be equal. We'll break even in oppression, and then we'll be able to coexist in harmony. This is my big hope for humanity. It'll take a couple centuries. You know what? Flippin' hell. I need to take a creative writing course because I want to make this happen. I do. I really, really do. I want to make this at least happen in fiction. Yeah, this is the way I want. Okay, the mass remigration is the only way. Yeah, okay. Will Holland take all the white people, all the Dutchmen? Because the thing is, a Burki is not a Dutch person. He is something else. He is of South Africa. He's not just a European. He is actually an African because he's been there. But okay, if you who wants to go and speak to Holland to bring them back, to take all of the Afrikaners back? Oh, remigration. I'm talking about non-Europeans in Western nations. Oh, the Western nations? Oh, okay. But I'm talking about the people. Oh, hold on. Why are we not sending the white people back where they came from? So if we're sending everybody back to where they came from, we've got to figure out where everyone came from, first of all. And then, yeah, where they came from has got to accept them. Otherwise, why the fuck are we talking about this? That the reason I make fun of this whole thing is, sorry, if this is your what you're going to harp on about, if this is the issue that you want to find reparation for, then these are the solutions we have to get to. Unless we also do the whole genocide thing, because that's supposedly a solution, if you will. Do you see how ridiculous it is when I speak about it this way? Well, maybe some people actually speak about it this way and they mean it absolutely seriously. And they mean it as a viable option that we should totally do. Okay, anyway, controlling supply chains for centuries. So this is this is the basis for critical race theory. This is it. Okay? This is all of it. Like, look, there were past things, and guess what? Evil was only ever committed by white people. So this is the only way forward, is return the land. That's actually quite nice. Returning the land is a very nice thing compared to some of the things you'll read on Twitter about what could happen as an alternative. So he says no. Charlie says no, this is not, there's no moral obligation. There's some moral obligation to make to make life better, at least. And the people that are in charge also have a moral obligation. So they fought for freedom, but somehow, now that they've got this freedom, this moral obligation to make the lives of the people they fought for better doesn't really ring that loud in the ears of the politicians in South Africa. Interesting state of affairs. So reparations have been attempted in SA in the past 20 years. So this is what he's talking about in terms of the land reform is the concept we talk about. But he says, oh, but that hasn't worked. And again, for me, I want to ask you, sir, why hasn't it worked? Is it because of just the white people, or policies, or politicians, or all of the above? South Africa pulling itself down by itself. Talking from one group, so he's also agreed, but it didn't work. And you go, oh, it didn't work. Oh, now it does work. So we had a beautiful turn from it hasn't worked to it does work. So I would then go with this, it does work. My main response to it does work was, oh yes, communism works if you implement it properly. That's the way we're thinking over here. Black economic empowerment is supposed to incorporate. That's a good policy. That's supposed to be that's how we do get our reparations without having to take from people, right? We're not taking, we're making it necessary for you to give to other people, okay? Despite that, most black South Africans don't own land, yes, because BEE isn't about giving land back, and it seems like the politicians are involved with not giving people land. But you know what, it's fine, to the point that I bring us all the way back to stolen ground, okay? The documentary, where people are waiting for housing from this government who has a moral obligation, having fought for them, that they will do better for them than the apartheid government. Okay? This moral obligation to give back to the disadvantaged South African. Those people, they haven't done much. They haven't given land. They haven't that to the point where they would rather invade a space and live in a shack than wait for an RDP house from the government, because they're not going to get it, because they've been waiting nigh on 26 years for it. Okay, so that's how it all works. It's interesting. Therefore, they can't earn a good living. So also we can't earn a good living because the only way, according to this guy, the only way to earn a living is through land. My husband over here, he really does earn a good living. I think my father earned a good living. I think my mother did as well. My sister, all of these they're all white people, and they earn a good living. Not from land though. My sister doesn't own her house. She doesn't. No? Okay, so it seems like the economy is greater than just land ownership, but I understand the blood relation to land, wanting to have this land we belong to. Black-owned land is less productive. This fact check, we need to figure it out. And he's just like, well, he cancelled this out by saying we must build capacity over time. So it's fine. The black people will figure it out, like the Boers did, the Buddha did. Okay. He goes, okay, we just wanted to talk about acquisition and the process, whatever. I suppose that's going to help. The way that land was acquired is something we need to figure out. You know, that's how we can punish. But then Charlie basically bulldozes him and just goes, race-based policy is bad. But it's race obsession, and he goes into this whole mindset thing that, okay, we just need to change the mindset of the African to leave this race obsession behind. But they are also being sold that, no, we want restitution, we want redress for the past, and it's so much easier if you just give me land. And this moral principle you're talking about that's supposed to stop me from wanting to punish people, that doesn't apply to me, because why? You benefited from the atrocity, therefore you're guilty. You still benefit from it. The moment you stop benefiting from it, haha, then it's fine. Therefore, we come to the conclusion, I'll just put it here, big and thing, tax the whites, and all will be well. That is the conclusion I've come to for today's session, everybody. Just let's put it all nice and big. There you go. There we go. Seriously, double tax them. And you know what? Maybe just don't tax black people either. I didn't even think of that one. Don't tax black people at all. That'll be good. Might as well. We have about half the power stations built in apartheid left. Just saying. Okay, so let's get into the fact-checking research part of the stream. At least we stop paying taxes when we die. Well, yes, except for if there's any inheritance to your children or anything like that, they have to pay tax on that. Yeah. So, let's go into a bit of research. Let's go to Stats SA. Obviously, I want to just speak to Grok about these things. Why are you not letting me go to Stats SA? I still think Kirk was really dumb here, whether reparations are valid or not. If something is stolen and passed to someone else, it's proper that the original owner get it back. It's the law too. Okay, the original owner though, a waffle fry. Who's the original owner? Is the original owner there? Is the original owner alive? Okay. Okay, so let's go into, I'll keep my diagram open, but let's go over here. Okay, I'll close you. And open you just so that you can be my research assistant, Grok. Okay, I'm researching some claims. Claims made in a debate about land expropriation in South Africa. What percentage of land is private land is owned? Let's start off, sorry, what are the demographics, racial demographics of South Africa? Give most recent data. Right, and at the moment I'm on Stats SA's website for us to have some fun. Okay, the most recent data on South Africa's racial demographics come from the 2024 mid-year population estimates by Statistics South Africa, which is where we're at. So let me just check here, mid-year population. Give me links here, Grocky. No, you're giving me 14 posts. Nah. Give me a link. Here it is. Yeah. Total, okay, thank you for the privacy. The total population of South Africa in 2022. So why are you giving me that? Why is that it? South Africa's population, South Africa Gateway. Total population of South by ethnic groups. This was 2022. Why are you telling? So it was released in 2025. The figures reflect a shift since 1994. Just hold on. Mid-year population estimates by Statistics South Africa, as well as the 2022 census, though the latter has faced criticism for potential inaccuracies in some groups. The 2022, the population is approximately 63 million. Here's the breakdown by racial group. Okay, Black African is 81.7%. Okay, colored, which is a term that is used in South Africa. Okay, you can see there it actually literally says colored. Okay, it's not me making that up and me being racist. That's how we call it is colored. Okay, and that is mixed race. Okay, we've got 8.5%. Okay, and that also will be a majority of those people as well will be in like Western Cape. They would be affected by things in Western Cape. White, 4.5 million. They are 77.2% of the population. Indian/Asian. You guys that we don't split those people. Are we Masakaners? Yeah, exactly. They are 2.6%. Okay, other unspecified. So we don't know. 0.27%. Okay, so this was in 100,000s. Okay, cool. So source information release dates. Let's see here. Just hold on. Racial demographics. Let's see what we can get here. Racial diversity at the U.S. banks. Americans' belief on the problem of racial discrimination in the U.S. by race. Discrimination. No, I don't want this. I want the from us. Industry. Chemicals. Society. Demographics. Come. Search. Why are you telling me South African things? South Africa racial demographics. I just want to see if this 2024 thing is... No, we've just got this. 2022. Okay. Hey Ragnar. Coloreds are proud to be coloreds, kind of like Boers aren't Dutch. Yeah, exactly. Like it's I didn't realize that for some people calling an Afrikaans person a Dutchman is actually really offensive. Okay. So anyway, what search statistics, land ownership, okay? Ownership by demographics. By race. South Africa. Okay. Oh, we don't have any. Okay. Trends reports, industry, companies and product reports, politics and society reports. Why are we looking at all of these things in France and shit? Okay, let's talk about South Africa. Employment in South Africa. Demographics of South Africa. Let's see. This is the 24. Oh, poverty. Nice. Politics. General elections. Education. Violent crime. Oh, we have to pay for all of these things. $495 for this. The report gives information on South Africa's demographics. You know. We have to order it. Birth rate, fertility rate, mortality. Wow, interesting. Anyone want to drop $400 and something so we can look at this? All look very cool. Total population, South Africa. Anyway, cool. Let me ask Grok here for another thing. Grok or ChatGPT time for sure. Yes. Land reform pilot process, historical land ownership. Okay. What is the okay, so here, sorry, let's put this into the diagram here. I'm just going to put it here as part of the fact check. Come now. Okay, the break, that's the racial demographics. I've put them in there. Okay, so these figures reflect a shift since 1994, with the black population increasing from 76.6% to 81%, while the white population has decreased from 10% to 7%. So it's 10.9 to 7.2. The colored and Indian Indian and Asian have remained relatively stable. Gauteng is the most populous province. Surprise, surprise. About 15.9 million people, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now I want to ask, okay, what's percentage of land is owned by white people in South Africa? Grok, is this true? Is what I'm doing here. Estimates of land ownership by white South Africans vary due to incomplete data. Who's lying? Okay, and differing definitions of land. Total land, agricultural land, or privately owned land. Yes, you see, so it's always fun. You still here? Yes, I'm here. We're looking into the land ownership statistics as much as we can with regard to access to information through Stats SA. I'm looking at Grok, so I'm actually reading Grok here. Agricultural land, according to the 2017 land audit, okay, by the Southern African Department of Rural Development and Land Reform. We're on 2017. Okay. White individuals own, so this is obviously the statistic he got. Approximately 72% of the farms and agricultural holding registered to individuals. Okay, so individuals owning land, it's the 72%. Okay, which amounts to about 26.7 million hectares. I'm sure there's graphs and things that I've got archived long ago. They were all over Twitter when Land Expropriation Act became a topic. Okay, where are we at? He's got this 10% of the population is white, so he was right about. Actually, it's not 10%, love. It's 8.5. No, not 8.5. 7.2%. So I'll put this over here. I'm correcting my diagram here. 8.2%. Oh, 7.2, sorry. 7.2% white population. So it's decreased. Oh, it's the Great Replacement. Okay. But they own 72% of private land. This is according to 2017 figures. Which, okay, fine. I would also actually not expect the 2017 figure to change too much because people are holding on to their land. But private land. Okay, this is out of 37 million hectares of individually owned farmland. So 26.7 out of 37, okay, is owned by white people, white individuals, representing roughly 30% of South Africa's So this private owned land is 30% of South Africa's landmass. Okay, so we've got 70% out there. However, this figure excludes land owned by trusts, companies, and the state, which complicates the overall picture. Yeah, I would say. So, where is the state land? What is the state land doing? Total privately owned land. The 2017 land audit also found that 39% of South Africa's land is owned by individuals, with white South Africans owning 72% of the portion of this portion, about 28% of all private land, when including trusts and companies, which hold significant portions. Okay, and the racial breakdown becomes less clear, but estimates suggest white ownership of all private land, including trusts, could be around 50 to 73% of the total 79% privately owned land. Hey now? – 79% privately owned land. How did you get that? That's 56. No, don't let Grok do the math. Private land in South Africa is 24%. Yeah, so well they've now said 30% over here in this waffle here. They own half of what is privately owned. No, they own more than half. They own 72% of what is privately owned. The public land is closer to 45%, I think. So let's see. Progress since 1994. So this is, remember when I said what happened in my diagram? I was like, so they've been trying to do stuff. So what's been holding them back? In 1994, white farmers owned about 85% of arable land. Okay. By 2015, this dropped to around 39% of privately owned rural land, with white individuals owning 28% of this segment, including land acquired by black South Africans through private purchases and redistribution. So we got 28%. We got down to 28%. I'm reading this here. It's like progress. White farmers owned about 85% of arable land. By 2015, this dropped to 39%. Okay, of privately owned rural land, with white individuals owning 28% of this segment. White individuals, okay? The others are trusts and etc. Okay, so it's not just white people. It's not just individuals, including land acquired by black South Africans. Black ownership of rural land is estimated at 24% for individuals, higher when including communal and state-owned land. Yeah, state-owned land is black-owned land, I suppose. We got to decide that. Yes, why mention arable land? Well, because we're supposed to pretend that it's true, that actually everybody wants to be a farmer. Conflicting claims. Some sources, like 2019 Fact Check, debunk claims that the white people own only 22% of all land, noting this misrepresents the 2017 audit by excluding trusts and companies. Because, yeah, it's the companies, it's the white monopoly, right? Others, like posts on X, claim white ownership is as low as 9.8% for arable land, or 18 point. See, this is what I'm talking about. That, like, when he says these percentages, I'm like, I don't know, because I've heard all different kinds of things, and you can just decide what you believe. But if we're looking at Stats SA, my real question is, what is happening with the state land? Others, like posts on X, claim white ownership as low as 9.8% of arable land, 18 to 22% for all land, but these are often unverified and may undercount due to trust ownership. Conversely, whoopsie, let's go back there. Conversely, claims of 72% to 80% white ownership of all land are also misleading, as they conflate individual farmland ownership with total land. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Fact Check AFP. Let's go here. Let's go a bit there. This, I actually remember reading this. This article is more than 1 year old, published on July 19, 2019. A meme widely shared. So in total, white South Africans own that many hectares of urban land and this many hectares of agricultural land, which includes vast areas of semi-desert Karoo, making a total of that 27 whatever. The total area of okay, anyway, who owns the other 78% and why is all this focus on the 22% and not the 78? Yes, so this was that claim that basically stuck in my head is what's going on with the government owned land? What is happening with that? Why are we not talking about it? The meme, also seen in March 2018 Facebook post, blah blah. This made it easy to track down where they came from. The 2017 Land Audit Report published by the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform. But the report makes clear the ownership situation is more complicated than the meme suggests. Oh, you would think so. Okay. But the report makes clear, yeah, we only have racial ownership data for about 1/3 of South Africa's land. Okay. But the thing, the data we have is what we want to know. So we don't need to look further. Okay. More than 20 years after the end of apartheid, land reform remains a highly contentious issue in South Africa. Interesting. Millions among the black majority were dispossessed under white minority rule, and land redistribution was fundamental principle governing of the ANC during the struggle against apartheid. Yes. Okay, the land audit was carried out in a bid to assess the extent to which ownership of South Africa reflects the demographic makeup of the country. The report breaks down all the registered land in South Africa into various different categories depending on who owns it. Individuals, companies, community-based organizations, trusts. So can we get that now? Or do I have to pay hundreds of dollars for it now? Land audit. South Africa's land audit. Let me go. Wait, do I get African land audit? Land order report. Audit report. Land audit report, November 2017, version 2. Race, gender, and nationality. Okay, purpose of the report, the data. Okay, let's see, detailed findings. Land ownership in South Africa. Urban. Does that mean urban? What do you mean urban? What is urban land? What is urban land? Real estate, okay. In real estate, urban is a piece of land registered in a deeds registry as an ERF, lot, plot, or stand. The term is Afrikaans in origin. Erf size, okay, so it's erfen, are measured in square meters, hectares, or acres in South Africa, and erf is a plot of land, usually urban, marked off for building purposes. Okay, so it's for building. Okay, we've got a 3% extent, owners, 93. Number of landowners by land type, parcels, extent in hectares, and landowner type. Okay. Agricultural holdings. So we've got a lot of the parcels that happen there. But the biggest is farms, right? So the biggest, oh my goodness, my stupid camera is not helping. Let me change my camera here. Gordon had the credit card. Hold on, let me just change here. I'm gonna have to maneuver the webcam. It should be deactivated, but okay. Let's see if the webcam will chill on top of my phone without dying. Oh god, it's gonna fall. There you go. Be my friend. Be my friend. Don't fall. Turn you off, turn you on. Now you can see the difference, guys, in the cameras. Hey Groovy, hello master debaters, everybody. We are done with the master debate. Now we're busy looking at some data. Okay, what's this? We detect that your network quality is poor, which may impact your streaming experience. It's supposed to be plugged in. That's probably why. Okay, that's probably the point. That's it. Is that it's not plugged in. Okay. Why did I take my top off? It looks like it, hey. No, it's still there, guys. It's still there. Right. To F is over ervaring. Sorry. Okay. There we go. So let's see. Erfenland is 3%, but 96% of the land is farms. Okay, but then the agricultural land holdings is 1%. Okay. So that's the breakdown of the land mass itself. Province, okay, we've got individuals, number of private landowners, okay, companies, trusts, okay. Eastern Cape, it's individuals. Wow, so mostly individuals. This is what it's telling me, is that mostly, no. Hold up, you're telling me the number of private landowners. If we're going to have individuals, there's going to be more individuals than there are groups. Okay, I want to know about the actual land mass. Okay, so the number of landowners is these people can own 1 square meter. Okay, there are 6,470,000 landowners in the country, 95% of which are individual. Yes, individuals there will be more of. Okay, I want to know how much of the land they own. Okay, all the private landowners, 30% of all these private landowners. Table 3 shows, yeah, this is telling me the number of individuals versus the number of companies. Number of trusts. Number of CBOs. What is going on? Oh, somebody outside. Farms and agriculture ownership by race. Table 4. Oh god, we have to... Okay, here we go. So this is individual land ownership by race in hectares. Okay, so there we go. In Eastern Cape, we've got 65% white. Ooh, co-own, interesting. Maybe we need to increase the co-own share. 72%. So they took this. They take in Northern Cape it's 77. And in Western Cape 72. So they've taken the average when they quote the 72 thing. They take the average over here. Okay, cool. 4% African, 15% colored, 5% Indian, 3% other, co-own. Okay. So they broke down the individual landmass. I love the presentation of this fucking thing. Hello, Kitty. I've been watching Thinkers on rewatch. Loving the discussion. So all hope well is always well with you. Hey, Louise, good to see you. I'm so sorry that you can't be there live, but I'm so glad that you are. You're enjoying them, at least afterwards. Okay, I'm just looking at CMO is the CBO is a community-based organization. Okay. Co-ownership, land owned by owners who are classified in different categories. Okay. Department, foreign, individuals whose country of birth is not South Africa, individuals, natural persons. Okay, so the definition of land is what they were talking about, guys. The volume of space that encompasses the surface of the earth, all things that are attached to it, the rocks and minerals that are just below it, areas covered by water such as seas and lakes, all building and construction in all natural vegetation. Legally, land extends from the center of the earth to the infinite in the sky. Okay, cool. Different types of land then? Land use. Land value, the assessment of the value of the land and properties, gathering of revenues through taxation and adjudication. Private, first level classification of non-state owners, i.e. individuals, companies, churches. State, Department of State Administration in the national, provincial, or local sphere of government and public entities. So I want to search states. I want to go and look at the figures. Owner, okay, so this data preparation, owner classification, export individuals data. Why are we only exporting individuals data? Oh, it's the individuals because we can't talk about their race unless they're individuals. Okay. Import DHA and stats SA result output. Okay. Cool. I just want to know land ownership. Detailed finding. Agricultural farms. Land parcel type. I'm cool with the land parcel types, but I want you to tell me individuals, companies. You're telling me, okay, in hectares. There we are. Private land ownership by category in hectares. Okay. So this is we've broken down the private land ownership, but we don't, do they break down the state's ownership? What is the state doing? What I want to know is what kind of land does the state own? Okay, because you're talking about, look, we can go individuals and companies and trusts and CBOs. Cool. I can understand all of that. And you're saying 96% are by individuals and blah, blah, blah. Okay, what I want to know is public land ownership. So cool, let's go. Are you still talking about private? Individual land ownership, individual by gender. Oh guys, females, only 13% owned by females. Yeah. Okay, number of individual landowners, farms and agricultural holdings, ownership by nationality. Okay, we got mostly South Africans because the foreign people don't own the land. Cool. Number of individual landowners by nationality. Cool. Urban ownership. What? 49%. Okay, so when it comes to having plots of land to build upon, guys, we have an average of 30%. Black people, across the country, 30% is owned there. But if you look at Western Cape, the plots of land are very not owned by Africans at all. Colored, it's very white land ownership in Western Cape, which would be so fucking cool. Okay, if we got this kind of stats together, to see if there is more land grab in these kinds of areas, as opposed to further in the other provinces where we have more black people in ownership of plots. It would make sense that where there are more displaced or more people without land, black people without land, you're going to see more land grabs. Okay, individual landowners per race. Again, cool, this is all individual, but I want to know the state land is supposed to be distributing to the individuals that are in need. Now, okay? Still, we're on the individuals. We're still doing a lot of this stuff. Sectional title ownership, that's the kind of ownership we had. When we had an apartment, and I say we, it was mostly my husband. I bought groceries. Sectional title ownership by nationality, cool, you're still doing that. Number of individual sectional titles owned, no. Conclusion. So we don't get anything about what the government, who should have the most information on its own land. The land audit set out to provide information on private land ownership by race, so it didn't go out to look for the to do anything about to give us any information about the state-owned land. Okay, the task was complex and time-consuming, as data had to be sought from many different sources for processing and different techniques and analysis applied to produce the credible information. I want us to redo the study and see if there's any change. The Deeds Office, the official repository of land rights in the country, currently does not register land rights by race. It also does not compel landowners to register a deed, subdivision, and land use. Changes permits from the surveyor, blah blah. This results there are surveyed land parcels that have changed land uses but are still registered as deeds in their old land use classification. So yeah, this is going over the limitations of the study. Secondly, the land audit exercise revealed the need between the department and other national departments and state-owned entities to ensure comprehensive, up-to-date, credible, and accessible national land information. Okay. Did we get any of that? Okay. Secondly, the land audit thirdly, this exercise revealed the areas of land tenure legislation that need urgent attention. Fourthly, the land audit exercise revealed the capture for private gain socially created land value that is lost as revenue to society and economy for especially land reform and post-settlement development. Okay. The land audit exercise revealed that the capture of private gain socially created land value that is lost as a revenue to society and economy for especially I don't understand this. Explain this sentence, Grok. Let me get a new chat so it doesn't wonky itself. What does this sentence mean? Reword the sentence and maintain its meaning. The land audit revealed that socially created land value captured for private gain is lost as revenue for society and the economy, particularly for land reform and post-settlement development. Okay, so we are moving value, land value, when we change ownership. Finally, this exercise has revealed that we have just taken the first steps upon a long journey towards the goal of the sustainable relationship of South African citizens to one another through the effective management of land as a resource of nation. Okay, cool guys, love it, absolutely love it, but we are not recommendation. Okay, cool. Documents, the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform should establish a land administration commission. Okay, what's another one? The department should introduce overarching legislation on national land rights. The injunction of the Constitution that South Africa belongs to all must be translated into a lived experience for the majority of South African citizens, that it's founded on overarching. So this is part of the kind of stuff that goes behind the land expropriation, that we have a constitutional right to land, so this is it. I sent you relevant charts in Discord DMs. Thank you. I will open them now. Define the rights, restrictions, and responsibilities of South African citizens to land. I want to know about the government vest land as the common property to the people of South Africa as a whole. Ooh. Collect land values created by the states and society into a public fund for land reform. We haven't done that! And sustainable development, rather than to continue collecting them as unearned income for private gain by a few. Okay, we good. Outline the land governance framework for the states. Okay. In section, okay, we're gonna have to do the So no, but when we do the land expropriation without compensation, where we just take your cuck, then we'll give it back to the people. Swear, promise, pinky swear you'll get the land if we take it. Okay. The Department of Rural Development and Land Reform should establish Land Reform Fund. The National Development Plan on the Integrated and Inclusive Rural Economy recommended an innovative model in Chapter 6 that would leverage more funds to support the financing of land reform in addition to the existing fiscal resources. So we've got to fund the land reform because we've got to buy the land. Don't worry. The first proposed fund. Wow. Okay. Oi, put some respect on my cuck. It's shiny cuck. Okay, let's see what Creamage has furnished us with. And define you. When did I say? RDP homes are examples of public land transported to private land ownership where they don't transfer the title deed. Okay, so we don't transfer the title deed, you don't actually own it. Nice, lekker. Open link. Oh, yes, look how small this thing is. The way that it exported or imported, yeah. Not lekker. Let me see if I can click on it better. Okay, this is better. I'll just have to share it here. I don't know why it didn't open properly. Let's stop here. And remove stop screen. Yeah, this is what Creamage sent us. Okay. Land ownership by group in South Africa, all land in acres, white South Africans. So this is all land, apparently. Black South Africans. So this is all land in acre. I don't think that's the all land. It's not all land, it's private land. White South Africans own approximately 72% of all land in South Africa, despite being in the minority of the property. Where did you get this? Black South Africans own about 4%. The remaining 24% is owned by people of other races or falls under unknown / no, the data reflects land area owned, not number of land owners, and highlights the enduring legacy of apartheid. No. Why you okay? Yeah. Breakdown of individual landowners by race, South Africa. So there's individuals, Black South Africans. Black South Africans own about then you breakdown of individual landowners by race in South Africa. Breakdown. Black South Africans are 95% of the population, I suppose. The chart shows the proportion of individual landowners by relation. I don't think it does. How is this? How is this working? No, that's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. What is this? A chart for ants? No, but what it's saying is 95% of Black South Africans, and then it's like this shows that Black South Africans make up the overwhelming majority of individual landowners. White South Africans, I guess what it's then trying to say is there's more black people than white people. Institute of Race Relations. Okay, let's do that. Institute of, oopsie. First it's acres, the second is individual landowners. Yes, that for me that's the number of them, but it's not. Yeah, it's the number that own something. So that's the difference. Let's go land ownership. Search the site land ownership. Land debate distorted by misrepresentation of ownership figures. misrepresentation of data. So wait, let me just see if they've broken it down in this. Land inequality in South Africa. Note, this is about farm/rural land and excludes urban land. Note, this is all land in South Africa, urban and rural. This is it. Open, magnify image, there we go. Here we go. Present. This over here. Right, so this is what state land slash unregistered is 6%. Individuals, they own 30%. So that individuals bit, no, the individuals is private. It's part of the private stuff. So there's 30% by individuals, 19% companies, community-based organizations. Is the 3% there. So we were looking at all of these in that, and trusts. Okay, we were looking at all of this, okay, in that report. Then this, oh, and the co-ownership. Then this over here is the state land registered there, state land unregistered there. So we don't know anything about these guys. This is all land in South Africa, urban and rural. So individuals, and then within the individuals, we obviously have the most white people, most white people, most white people. And in here, we don't know. We've just got this, we could consider this black-owned land because of the state owning it. It's only, no, that's just my webcam. This is about farms, rural land, and excludes urban land. So we don't have urban land, privately held land owned by individuals, farms. So they've taken all of this here and put it into racial stuff. So they've just put those tables into graphs for me. It's my webcam, and maybe I just do look tired. It's Monday. Maybe I put the lights on a bit more. I'm awake. I don't know. I was in the sun yesterday. Maybe it aged me for you. Right. I think I'm fucking over this, boys. But we can't be over it. Are you scared? You are joking? You better be fucking joking. But I've got like a lip ring. I've become a liberal. Oh, look away. Thanks, Wade. Right, guys, that is it for today. I'm not too sure what we're going to do with the rest of the week, but I'm going to be on other shows anyway. So look out for New Black Street. Tomorrow morning, it'll be way too early for the South Africans. And then I'll be chatting with Joe on his show, so I absolutely expect all of you to be there. And yeah, let's figure out what I'm doing on the rest. For the rest of the week, I'll look through your recommendations in the Discord and use my extra time because I didn't do a 4-hour stream. I will use my extra time to fix the setup. So my 2 times went to 1 time, just as you said that. That's it. Well, there you go. Fine, I'll make an appearance. Yeah, I think so. All right, guys. Sorry for the horrible audio start and everything. Hey, if you need some good feelings, go and check out the short I made of Axel. So those are going to be intermittently thrown into the shorts feed. So if you are not subscribed, be subscribed. Do it. Put on the notifications. Have a nice life. And you're here for the end of the stream. Well, you know what? You'll be here for the rest of the week, right? Just come and say hi. As long as you're here whenever you can be, I'm good. Okay? Let's all be good for the rest. Have a nice life. Absolutely. Have the best of lives. Have a nice life. Okay, thanks. Bye.
I'll see you next time, chat. I hope hope you had fun. We had a pretty great time, but now we're done. If you disagreed with me,